Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a new edition of Jaltest Diagnostics webinars. My name is Marcos. I am training manager at Cojali, and today we will talk about the ADAS systems and its calibration with Jaltest Diagnostics. As always, and before starting, just remember that if at any moment during the webinar you have any questions to make, there is a chat window available for that. My colleague Maria will be there supporting with the answers. And also, if you prefer, you can also write an email to us with your questions to customer support at jaltest.com. Okay, customer support at jaltest.com. The webinar is being recorded and it will be shortly published in our YouTube channel so that you can watch it again in future, or you can even share it with someone else, okay? And last but not least, in order to be always up to date of everything which is new with Jaltest, like news, training material, software updates, etc., make sure that you check our website, www.cojaliusa.com, and follow us on our social media. We are present in Facebook and also in LinkedIn. Okay. So, all right, guys, let's move now to see our agenda. Okay, we will start from the basics, explaining what ADAS means, and then the different types of systems. Okay, and then we will see why it is very important, the calibration of these systems, and how we can make it. This will lead us to the third section of the webinar, in which we will introduce our new Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment. And finally, we will take a look at the current Jaltest coverage regarding ADAS systems, and we'll see also some practical example during the software. At the very end of the presentation, we will also review the pricing for this new Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment. All right, so okay, guys, let's go with it. Okay, what is ADAS? First of all, well, ADAS stands for Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, and it refers to a variety of electronic systems that are present in the vehicles, all kind of vehicles. And these systems are using advanced technologies in order to help the driver in the driving process to increase the vehicles and road safety. In other words, these systems' objective, or this system's goal, is to reduce the number of crashes and to mitigate the severity of these crashes. We are going to find multiple names out there that refers to the same concept, such as collision mitigation systems, CMS, or forward collision accident mitigation. Okay, so it depends. But in any case, and regardless of the name that we want to use, we are talking always about radars, cameras, lidars, and other kind of sensors used for collision avoidance purposes. Okay, all these systems can work together to control and oversee the area surrounding the vehicle, alerting the driver in case of necessity so that he can react on time. And actually, some of these systems already have the capability of taking action and momentarily control the vehicle if the driver doesn't react in a timely manner, in order to prevent or mitigate a crash. Okay, so let's go over some of the most common driving support systems that we are going to find on commercial vehicles. The ACC, or Adaptive Cruise Control, is a system which automatically increase or decrease the speed of the vehicle to keep a safe following distance with the vehicles ahead. There are some advanced versions of these systems that can even slow, stop, and accelerate the vehicle in traffic jams. This system, the ACC, works thanks to radars and computer-connected cameras. Then we also have the LDW, the lane departure warning, which is a system that will alert drivers whenever they drift out of the lane by using visual, vibration, or sound warnings. These systems rely on road marking to determine if we have drift out of our lane or not. Then we also have the FCW, the forward collision warning, which is designed to warn drivers if they are about to crash into a slower moving or a stop car or any other object ahead. Okay. And finally, we got the AEB, the automatic emergency braking, which is usually paired with the previous one, with the forward collision warning. And what the automatic emergency braking does is basically scanning the road while driving and send warning alerts to the drivers whenever they are about to crash into another vehicle or to another object. If the driver doesn't react on time, the system will quickly brake or even stop to avoid the crash. It works thanks to the camera and or radar sensors located in the front of the vehicle. It is important to make a pause here and try to understand the current situation regarding the implementation degree of these safety systems in the market. The ADAS systems are not something completely new, and according to the industry experts, they must be understood as a building block technology. Okay, the ABS, the anti-lock brake systems that everybody knows, came to the world about 25 years ago already, and this system is considered by many as the basement in which additional layers of ADAS systems are built on top of each other. Over the years, and after the ABS appearance, we have seen how many other technologies were showing up, such as the stability control, the radars, cameras, and more. These different technological layers have been providing new messages to be read and new answers to be delivered by the ECUs. In today's newest commercial vehicles, all these different sensors are able to communicate and to understand with each other. Obviously, the more systems we have in our vehicle, the more information we will be able to manage. And consequently, that means to be able to make better decisions and to achieve a better driving performance and ultimately to reduce driving hazards. The full autonomous driving of the trucks seems to be the final goal of these technology developments. However, that moment seems to be a little bit far in time, according to industry experts, as we will need at least another 20 or 30 years until we reach the full autonomy level. Actually, right now, we will be just stepping into the second of 5 levels in this staircase to the full autonomy. But until that moment comes, we will have more and more of these new technologies incorporated in commercial vehicles. Okay, so before moving forward to the next section, to the next slide, I would like to launch a quick poll to know your experience regarding ADAS systems and their calibration. So my colleague Maria right now is going to launch the question. Okay, whenever you want, Maria. Okay, so the poll is already open. The question is, have you or your customer ever had the necessity of performing a calibration of the cameras, radars, etc., present in the ADAS systems? So please, guys, just go ahead with your answers. We still have a few seconds. Basically, we just want to know your previous experience with ADAS systems. If you had any case in your shop or any of your customers requested at some point any kind of calibration for these systems. Okay, we're still gathering the answers. Already the 80% of you guys already vote. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So it's already 1 minute. 80% of the people vote. We can see that almost the 40% of you has answered yes, and then the almost now is the 64 no. So of course, this is as we said before, this is a new technology, but the number of these systems on the vehicles is growing and growing every day more and more. So probably, if we make this question in about 2 years, the answers will be almost everyone answering yes. Okay. All right. So thank you for your answers. Thank you, Maria, as well. We continue with the presentation. All right. So as we know, in recent years, the adoption of new electronic technologies by the American trucking industry lags slightly behind the European industry. When it comes to ADAS systems, since 2014, the European commercial vehicle manufacturers are required by the European regulations to include systems such as the stability control, the automatic emergency braking, or the lane departure warning, okay, into the new vehicles. Actually, last year, additional regulations were approved by the European Commission in order to boost the road safety. New regulations that again will require to commercial vehicles manufacturer the inclusion of more ADAS features in the new vehicles from 2022, especially new features regarding the blind spots around the vehicle, okay, just to mitigate all these hazards related to the blind spots. On the other hand, in North America, ADAS systems are not something new either, as we could find them present not just in trucks, but also, of course, in most of passenger cars manufactured over the last decade. The trucking industry is just following that path on the passenger cars, and despite of the lack of a strong regulation in this matter in North America, most of the OEMs have now made collision mitigation systems as a standard fitment on their own highway models. Actually, important independent institutions like the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the IIHS, will be driving the adoption and acceptance of these technologies through the publication of different studies that have been proving the effectiveness and also the benefits of their use. The following chart is showing the adoption rates of ADAS systems on the United States fleets in 2018. It was a study performed or carried out by Fleet Owner and Informa Engage Research. And as you could see, almost the 75% of the big fleets that were asked answered that they had made the decision, or they have made the decision of investing on ADAS systems for their fleet's vehicles. This adoption rate was less than 30% in 2014. So that could give you an idea on how these technologies are not something on the future, but a today's reality. Okay, so let's move now into the ADAS calibration area or part of the presentation. Since truck manufacturers are incorporating more and more ADAS features into their vehicles, it is important to understand not just the technology itself, but also the reparability of these technical features. A precise and correct calibration of these systems is going to be super important in order to make sure that all the safety features perform as they should. A wrong calibration may cause late or incorrect responses from the vehicle to the information captured by the cameras, radars, or sensors. Okay, so let's take a look right now to some of the moments or some of the circumstances that will require a calibration or reset of these systems. For instance, one of the most common ones is going to be after windshield replacement or after the installation of a new windshield. Okay. Also, whenever the radar, the camera, or the bracket or the support of the camera are replaced. Okay. Now, let's say that we got an accident or we have performed a vehicle body repair, and during this accident or during this body repair, we have affected somehow the windshield. So in this case, we will need to perform a calibration as well. Also, after a wheel alignment, particularly if the windshield with a camera mounted to it was replaced. Also, of course, whenever we got some fault codes which are related to the calibration of any of these systems, or whenever we are, for instance, changing the height or the suspension on the vehicle. Okay. So the ADAS calibration could be divided in two main types. We got, on the one hand, static calibration, and on the other hand, dynamic calibrations. The type of calibration will depend on the vehicle manufacturer and obviously on the system itself. We're going to see some examples later on. The dynamic calibrations must be carried out through a road test, and they require certain driving conditions at the manufacturer prescribed speed with optimum weather conditions over a set distance, etc. For this type of calibration, we will need obviously some hardware, which is going to be the RP1210 device with the right connectors, which would be most likely the 9-pin connector, the 6 to 9-pin adapter, or the OBD2 connector for most of the commercial vehicles out there. And also, we will need a diagnostic software connected to the vehicle while performing the test. And then we got the static calibrations, which must be carried out in a specific workshop environment. So we will need to make sure that the level floor is stable and is well leveled, of course. We will need to have uniform lighting, etc. And for this type of calibration, we will not need to have like a driving test. Okay. This type of calibration requires the use of specific sensitive equipment, like a calibration frame with different targets, plus a diagnostic software with coverage for each of these calibrations, of course. Okay, so this is we're entering right now in the third part of the webinar, in which we're going to introduce the new Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment. Okay, a funny thing is that while we were preparing this webinar, we got the good news that we're finally ready to start providing the new Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment to the US market. And it will be available in the next few weeks. So here we are, proudly introducing our new product to all of you. Right now, I'm gonna share a video with you so that you can see how this calibration equipment looks like. Just give me 1 second. All right, so the new compact Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment that you just have seen has been designed, manufactured, and supervised by our product engineering department. It has a modular and flexible design that avoids unnecessary displacements of the whole frame. And also one of its main features is that it is easily portable and operable, and it can also be folded. Okay, of course, and following our Jaltest philosophy, it works in all makes. So this new Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment perfectly combines with the Jaltest Diagnostic Software. We will talk about it in a few seconds, but before that, let's take a look at the different parts that come within the ADAS calibration equipment. So first of all, we have the main frame or the structure with mirrors and measuring scales. Also, we got the radar calibration laser. As well, we have the targets for the calibration of the front camera, which are optimized for the different manufacturers. Okay, and then the self-centering wheel connection that we will use to make sure that both the frame and the ADAS calibration panel are perfectly aligned regarding the vehicle. As I have just mentioned, the Jaltest software will provide us with all the necessary information for the ADAS calibration in an easy and effective way, and it will do it for each track manufacturer. First of all, it helps the technician with the auto detection of the vehicle, and then it provides step-by-step guides for the calibrations, as well as detailed instructions for the preparation of the ADAS calibration equipment. Another of the most interesting features that we're going to find in Jaltest software is the capability for the technician to generate a diagnostic or calibration report. It is very important for the repair shop to be able to verify and document the health status of the vehicle whenever the vehicle arrives to the shop, but also when the vehicle gets back to the road. Okay. Let's move now into the fourth part of the presentation. We're going to take a look at the current Jaltest ADAS coverage. Okay. And when it comes to it, you will find calibrations for the cameras and radars of the most common ADAS systems in the market, which mainly come from two manufacturers, Bendix and Meritor Wapco. Okay. There are also other calibrations for different safety systems, such as in Mercedes-Benz or in Isuzu or Freightliner or Mitsubishi Fusos. But in the States, the most of the ADAS calibrations are gonna be around these two manufacturers, Bendix or Meritor Wapco. For instance, in Bendix, we will find the procedures for the camera installation, as well as the camera calibration in the Wingman Fusion FLC20. And first of all, under releases and procedures, we're going to find the step-by-step procedures for the camera installation so that we can easily set it up. This installation is particularly important because depending on the OEM, the camera position could be either in the center line of the windshield, or it could be slightly offset to one of the sides. The replacement of these cameras is not cheap, as they could go up to $1,000 or $1,300. Therefore, we will want them to be correctly installed and calibrated for the best performance. Okay. Then for the calibration, we will need to use the Jaltest calibration equipment and the specific target for this manufacturer. Okay. Before starting the calibration process, it will be important to prepare correctly the ADAS calibration equipment. And the Jaltest software will give us detailed instructions, as I was saying, on how to place it, how to level it, and center the frame, assemble the wheel centering connection tools on the drive axle, level the ADAS panel support frame, etc. In order to know the name of the references needed for this calibration, we will need to display the Jaltest Tools Reference Guide, which is included into the software, and you could easily see which are the reference part numbers that you will need in order to perform the calibration. Okay. Then, once everything is ready, we just need to start the calibration and follow the instructions given by the software during the whole process. Then, on top of the camera installation and calibration, of course, Jaltest provides fault codes reading and clearing for the system, live data, system technical data, wiring diagram, etc. All right. Also, within Bendix, we find the calibration features for the forward-looking radar for the 20 and 2021 version of the Wingman ACB advanced systems, which are systems that have been in the market for about 10 years already. For the FLR20, we could manually calibrate the camera sensor by following the specific release. This calibration could also be performed with the help of the Jaltest ADAS calibration equipment. And this could be done for both for the 20 and the 21 version of the system. The camera calibration will be needed whenever the system is not detecting the vehicles on the road properly, or whenever we are getting the diagnostic trouble code 46, which is letting us know that the radar sensor is incorrectly adjusted. So Jaltest software offers a calibration test for this system, which includes diagnostics and also the possibility to generate a report with the results of the test and the calibration. And then, as for the other main ADAS manufacturer of the market, Meritor Wapco, in addition to diagnostic features, Jaltest will cover the manual calibration of the forward-looking radar in the onboard system. This one is going to be a static calibration, and it could be carried out by following the instructions given in the technical release that you have in the screen. Also, for the lane departure warning assistance, we could reset the camera and also find the specific manufacturer instructions for the camera installation. As we have just seen on the Bendix side, performing a correct camera installation will be particularly important for a normal performance of the safety system. Finally, for the Onward Plus, Jaltest will provide us with diagnostic features as well as with technical information and parameter settings. We're expecting to have this system calibration available in next software updates. Okay, so just keep an eye on it. And we're going to move forward. We are in the 5 stage of the webinar, which is going to be the pricing and the references of the new Jaltest ADAS calibration solutions. So as you can see on the screen, there are 4 main parts that we mentioned before. We got the support structure for the calibration. For the calibration panels, we also have the radar and calibration kit for trucks and buses, and the laser wheel alignment tools that comes in 2 units for the 2 sides of the vehicle. And we got the Bendix Wingman Fusion panel, which is going to be probably the most used panel on calibrations, static calibrations on the North American market. Okay, so this is going to be basically the composition of the kit. And when it comes to pricing, okay, for all the all of you that you are already using Jaltest on the commercial vehicles version, the MSRP is gonna be 7,395. Okay, and then for all of you that you are not still using the software, the Jaltest commercial vehicle software, you have another option, which is going to be a little bit more expensive, but it will come with the four different references that we have just mentioned, but also with the Jaltest Link Kit, plus the connectors, the 9-pin connector, the 6 9-pin adapter, the OBD2, etc., plus the software activation for the Jaltest ADAS calibration system, okay, and 1 year of license for the use of this software, okay. So this is going to be basically the composition and the pricing of the new Jaltest ADAS solution, okay. So just summarizing again, if you're already using Jaltest, your MSRP is going to be 7,395. So you have all the coverage for Jaltest for the ADAS systems included into the commercial vehicles software. But if you are not using Jaltest yet, you have the option to get the hardware, the software, the license of use, and the Jaltest ADAS solution, all the portable frame with the panels and the radar calibration kit, plus the laser wheel alignment tools. Okay, so we got these two options that we're going to launch to the market, and as I said before, the solution is going to be available to order in few weeks. Okay. Finally, when it comes to the conclusions, we have seen that the ADAS technology is not something on the future, it's a reality in today's world, and it's here to stay. We're going to see how every day we find more and more safety systems in our vehicles, in the commercial vehicles on the road. Every day, most ADAS systems, cameras, radars, and so on, will require calibration, alignment, and also to be diagnosed. We have already seen the high importance of performing these calibrations so that we make sure of a correct functioning of these systems. Okay, and well, this is going to mean for the repair industry two things. First of all, it's going to be a challenge, okay, because of course the repair industry will need to evolve and to adopt new strategic changes in order to face this new reality and to continue being competitive, of course. But at the same time, it's going to be a great opportunity as well, because we got new customer demands, and this could mean also new revenue streams, of course. And we're thinking about all the makes independent repair shops, and also for all these companies that are very specialized on the windshield replacement and repair services. So thank you very much, guys. Probably you got some questions, or you have written some questions during the webinar. I'm gonna go through them right now. Probably Maria already answered some of them, but if you still have some questions, just go ahead, guys, over the chat, and I will be more than happy to give answers to all of you.
Yeah, here you have some questions from Trevor. Says, can you use any ADAS calibration hardware with the Jaltest system? So okay. No, perfect. You would need to use the Jaltest software. At the end of the day, if you have another one and those targets are going to be functional, they should work. But this is designed through the procedures. So what you saw on some of the screens and what the videos showed you were targets specifically laid out for Jaltest. Unfortunately, Marco's going to show you with the software how that works, but there's going to be a step-by-step procedure laying all that out and showing you how to go about it. So if the target is not calibrated or set up, or it's not the one that's designed for Jaltest, there might be some incongruencies. So there might be some differences. Then we have another question from Ben. It says, what size footprint do you need for CB calibrations? When we're looking at the size, it's pretty much the length of the truck, not the length, the width of the truck. After that, you're about 2 feet out on each side, depending on the adjustment you're making. And depth-wise, probably looking at 10 feet, being reasonable on it. The good thing is that it allows you to move. So the structure has wheels on the bottom and you can move it to the best location, even if it's not a fixed spot in your shop, because we understand that sometimes you don't have all that space and it's going to be necessary to move it around based on availability. Okay. I hope that one answered there. Here, let me see, we got a couple more. Are there specifications given to a customer because of the purchase price? They need to know what they need in their shop. So this question is from Jason. What we're doing is that we're going to offer the kit directly with the 4-part numbers. Given that we have different targets and radars for Renault or Volvo systems that are not available here, those have been eliminated. And the part numbers that you see are pretty much kitted off so that you can get what you need. Okay, that way the customer is going to know that they're going to be able to resolve whatever comes into their shop based on the U.S. market requirements. Let me see, I got a couple more here that are not answered. Where do you get the setup information and the steps to setting the frame up? Okay, so Ben, that's what I was saying beforehand. When you go into the software, and you go into the Wingman Fusion, for example, then it's going to show you exactly what to do. So step 1, it's going to tell you how to open up the target. Then it's going to show you how to tighten it up, and there's going to be a level there so that you can make sure that it's flat to the surface. It's going to give you about 7 or 8 steps. First step is going to be on the installation of the camera. So those of you that are accustomed to using Jaltest, it would be like when you're doing the VGT calibration. First step is going to be the camera setup, and then it's going to be the calibration. So you really don't need to do anything. Jaltest will tell you step by step on how to go about it, and then when it needs to have manual interaction with the lasers or with the moving of the targets, it'll tell you, and it'll wait for you to manually give the next instruction. And to finish off, if there's going to be an electronic calibration that needs to be done, just press the button, hyperlink will take you, and it's going to go to that direction. What is the frame part number? Well, you can shoot us an email there. We're working those final details out. So in the presentation, there's going to be 2 handouts. Those will be sent out to you as well with the follow-up email and the video that the system sends automatically. So there you're going to be able to have all the parts. The full kit's going to be 4-part numbers, and then you can, any questions that you have from there, or if you need clarification as if it works to your needs, then just shoot us an email, customersupport@jaltest.com, and we'll be more than happy to give it a look and make sure that it fits everything you need. And I think I got all the questions here out of the way. I'm going to take advantage and follow up with one that Chris was asking us beforehand while we were in the session. I got that one out of the way, but he was asking is ADAS systems are being updated by the OEMs pretty frequently. How will Jaltest be able to keep current with on-the-fly changes from the OEMs like Bendix, Rapco, ZF, and Detroit? So pretty much I was telling him that our development procedure just goes in the same way as Jaltest, where we're going to be following and testing vehicles as soon as they come out into the market and then developing the software. In the case of ADAS, the technology is normally developed in European trucks first, and then they use that same technology with slight modifications because of the dimensions and so on, and they apply that to American vehicles, okay? So the experience that we have up to date is that it's already going to be available by the time that it hits the US market, because as Marcos was saying, there's about 6 to 12 different systems here in the States. So it's pretty relative, and in Europe, there's about 3 times as much as that. Every OEM, every Euro 6 truck has these already in place, and they even have electronic braking systems, which don't seem to be coming anytime soon to the US. So on technology-wise, considering that we're based out of Europe and developing from there, we should be good for that. And the other one was, does your setup include the Bendix radar physical alignment? You guys saw that in the content where everything was included. So yeah, that's the one that is set up in that kit, because it's pretty much the one that you're going to need. That's going to be the most important one. And I see we have a hand lift out from Stefan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you, Stefan, if you want to share that question with everybody else.
Hello, yes, hello together. My question is, since in North America we're running still off of mechanical ride leveling valves, will the measurements for the respective units to calibrate will be provided in the program, or is it still an OEM thing to figure it out? Like, for example, back in the day when I was at Kenworth, the ride height is between 10.5 and 11 inches, measured from the weld on the axle to the under rail of the frame. I think that is one of the most important measurements to take before we even starting to calibrate anything, because if we're sitting too low or too high, we will be out of whack with the whole calibration, correct?
That's correct. So all of your initial requirements, guideline settings, distances, that will be provided by the tool. Each vehicle has its own restrictions, its own requirements, as you're saying, and those are going to be put in there, because if not, then the calibration is not going to be effective, and it doesn't really make sense to pursue a whole product line that is not going to work. So the software tells you the step-by-step procedure, the height, and so on.
Okay, thank you. I thought so, but just wanted to ask because you didn't mention it.
Just in case,
thank
right?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And now I don't see any more questions. So if anybody else wants to, if you want to raise your hand, I can, just like Stefan did, we can get that done. Okay, here we have Ben. So Ben, I'm going to unmute you and we'll go faster like that. Okay, Ben, all you. Oh, Ben, I can't unmute you. You're self-muted. So.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so what's an average charge a shop will do for calibration? How much are they going to bill a customer?
To be honest, it's right now we're seeing it exclusively from the dealers, and we haven't really had much of that feedback available. We've been trying to do this. So one of the things was that we weren't even going to present the whole hard case because it was still in development, but we managed to get that sorted out and done in the last week. So that's why we're presenting it. But we don't have that information, to be honest. So it's a matter of how much they're charging. We're going to figure that out, and we'll include that in our future webinars and ROIs. That's one of the things that we do with most of the things, figure out what the dealer's charging so that you guys can have a comparison. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you on that one, Ben, but I do know that there's not many aftermarket shops that have this capability, just because there's not many tools that are doing this on the truck side.
No, but I do have customers that are doing automobiles, and they have the footprint necessary that they could do trucks too if they had the tools and were able to do it. So
correct. Yeah, so let's do something on that. Ben, shoot us an email. Then Marcos or myself, we will be able to look into that in a little bit more detail in the following days, and we'll have that discussion with you so that we can target it. Okay, and that way we'll have a clear guideline towards it.
That's good.
All right, thank you, Ben. All right, Ricky, I see your hand up, but I don't see a mic, so I can't really unmute you. And Ben, you had another question?
No, I'm good. I just forgot to take my hand down.
All right, no worries. All right, Jen, so I don't see much more that we have here. So first of all, just like Marcos was saying, thank you all for joining us, for your time. We'll continue to elaborate content on how to include the Jaltest ADAS system and make it a profitable element into your shop. This is going to be pretty much available whenever in the next couple of weeks. So if you have any questions, reach out to your distributor. That's the key point of contact all the time. And then if you need help on figuring out who that is and what that's about, customer support at jaltest.com, and we'll work with you and let you know a little bit more of the ins and outs as they come across. So Marcos, back to you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining, guys. And as Bruno said, See you soon in more Jaltest webinars and more content. Thank you, guys.